And Douglas asks, how hard do you try and keep rain off wood stacks? How much overhang for the roof cover? And do I worry about side wind and rain? And do I recommend a fully enclosed woodshed? And those are great questions, Douglas. And it's hard to give you definitive answers, but here's my answer. Exposure to wind and sun are my #1 priorities. Protection from rain actually comes second. And it really depends on when I'm planning on burning it, of course, but in order to, like if I'm 3 years ahead, I might go ahead and stack the 4th year. I might just go buck it up and split it out in the woods and just stack it between 2 trees and leave it uncovered for that year until I can bring it in under some cover, or maybe I'll just throw like a piece of wood over the top or something like that. I will never use a tarp or anything that seals it tightly, but just try and give it some rain protection, but mostly not worry about it too much. It's only when I get to that last season where I'm going to try and start burning it that then I'm going to try and keep it out of the rain, because it will, of course, absorb some of that and get wet again. But it's really actually amazing. Wood that's seasoned and dry can take on quite a bit of rain without really ever getting the same kind of wet that it was when it was, living and drying out from the inside out. So I think the biggest, most important factors are, like I said, wind and sun. I'll try and stack them in single rows out in the elements. I'll give them as much rain protection as I reasonably can get without agonizing too much over it. I love sheets of just corrugated tin, cheap from Home Depot, just kind of spiked into the top of the stack. And just let it set for a year. And then ideally, is it worth building an enclosed woodshed? Ideally, no. Ideally, you'll have, like, my woodshed is just a big open structure with a shed roof over it, and I try and keep the drier ones, the ones that I'm planning on using, closer to the middle of that shed, and then the stacks kind of get out to the edge, and the one in the back is actually pretty wet and kind of exposed to some wind and rain. I don't worry too much about that. I don't like a woodshed with walls, but the caveat there is if you have various areas of stacking, you could have an enclosed shed for kind of your final place where it stacks, and that's fine if it's already seasoned, and then you bring it kind of inside and it just sort of gets rid of the last rain moisture. Then it doesn't need quite as much exposure to wind and sun. I had something else there, but I think I just lost it. Well, anyways, that's kind of the gist of that. Generally is keep them exposed as best you can, in my opinion. Short Bus Life says, best system I've heard of is just throwing the split logs in an IBC tote cage and clear cover over the top. Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. That's actually a really cool idea, and I've seen that before too. I've seen people do like wood sheds that they kind of turn into like a greenhouse type of effect. And that's beautiful. So my shed is, like I said, it's an open shed with a shed roof, but I made that shed roof out of that Sun Tough clear poly, the cheap stuff that you get at Home Depot. I want to say they're like $20 a sheet or something for like a 12-foot long by 3-foot wide piece. And you need airflow, as Short Bus Life says. So that's really the key. But yeah, that IBC tote with some plastic over the top is clear plastic over the top is beautiful, because you got tons of airflow, and then the rain is kept off, but you still get the solar heating and drying there. And honestly, that's really the best way to go. You'll see designs online for like solar kilns for your firewood, where people really think about the airflow and drawing in and down low and exhausting up high and all that stuff. And certainly you can put a lot of thought into it and have fun doing it, but those are the basic principles of that. So